sanibonani bafethu. Hayi igama usicelwa kaDlamini. Yeah, man, this is not an official episode. I would like to say that first. Number one, bafethu, think clear this thing. We've been gone for quite some time. Guys, siyanicela bafethu, please be patient with us. We are working on something. We will come back and you will see ukuthi besisebenza phezukwana. So ngiyanicela bafethu ningazipheleli moya. And yeah, man, stay tuned. Masesibuya bafethu, you'll be like, yay, besinikhumbulile. So the reason why I'm the reason why I'm posting this video is I just could not post my reaction, right? So earlier today we got the news Guti Stuart Baxter has left the Chiefs, but it then took the Chiefs the whole day to then confirm that, right? I was waiting for the confirmation before I could create this reaction video. I wanted to do it earlier, but I was like, you know what? No, let me wait for the reaction. So the statement comes out. Statement says, it's generic. It's what we know. After several meetings, we've just decided to mutually part ways, and that's it. That's the statement. There's nothing else except to say DillanShepard and ArthurZwane will take care of the team for the remainder of the season. Now, you'll see something different, right? You'll see this thing, and I want to make this point quickly. Arthur not Dillan will play a totally different team. Totally different team. We've seen this last year when Hunt left, and we're going to see it this year also now that Ulokuzana has left, right? To that point, I want to ask Uguti, how much of an influence or how much of a say do assistant coaches in this country have, right? And the reason why I'm asking that is, Uguti, I would assume, right? Uguti, okay, head coach comes through, head coach is told, because how coaches at South Africa are told, Uguti, these are the people you're going to work with, right? Then I assume Uguti, the head coach sits down with those two people or one person and say, listen, guy, this is me. This is my philosophy. This is what I want to achieve this season. This is how I want to go about with my team. And I'm selling you this plan to you. I'm selling this plan to you. And yeah, man, we buy into this. And both of us, or all involved, are going through with us. And particularly in KaizerChiefs, there's a technical director as well, right? So all of us who are in this plan are buying into this. I am selling you this plan, guys. And you go ahead and that's it, right? So I want to know, in that buying of the plan or in that selling of how much do our assistant coaches actually have in terms of saying or in terms of disputing or in terms of saying, no, but coach, your plan is not going to work with this particular group of players, or your plan is not going to work with this style of football that these players have been, this club has been trying to play, right? Again, going back to Arthur has worked with juniors at KaizerChiefs, so he knows the culture, he knows the type of players that are coming up in the structures. So how much of an influence does he have or did he have in whatever Stuart Baxter was trying to achieve? That's a question. I honestly would like to know that, because I also find Uguti, we take away or we don't give much responsibility or we don't give much of a say. Or my assistant coaches are just basically people who are just in the background, and sometimes balung samakone and whatnot. Like people used to say, Ngomandla Ngaz, Uguti was the guy, olung samakone, nama many cans during training. And I think Uguti, we do this and we see it, and it comes across when a coach leaves and you see a team now is Ibanjo assistant coach, and like, what? So this particular group of players can do this and they couldn't do it with that coach. And that's why I'm basically asking. But yeah, you guys can answer or discuss that. I want to go into this thing, right? I think and this makes me upset. This makes me to be honest. I think Uguti Chiefs lost the plot long time ago. Forget I'm a player, right? Right? And people would say, Uguti, but players are also responsible for a coach coming and leaving and all of those things, right? But forget the players, right? Think about the management, right? If, for example, Usolinas was let go and the players sabotaged him, how come the same players who sabotaged Usolinas are still in that club? If I'm just making an example, if that was the case. If Umidendorp was sabotaged by my players, how come the same players are still at that club? If Hunt was sabotaged by players, how come the same players are still at the club? Who's responsible for our contracts and players? Not the coaches. Not the coaches. Yeah, but so it also begs the question, okay, sharp. as a Kaizer Chief management, when you let go of Hunt, for example, right? You had the period from Hunt leaving to Stuart Baxter. What was you guys discussing? What was you guys going out there to look for a coach and saying what we're looking for this coach who has this and this and this and this is why we want this coach and this is how he's going to turn our club around and this is the measures or the goals we want to see during the process of him changing our club. What kind of discussions were held before that? And now that he's gone from Xasa, when they now start to look for a coach, what discussions will they be holding at Kaizer Chiefs? Because if you look at the Stuart Baxter, for example, he came to the Chiefs, they have tapes ka Stuart Baxter at training, at playing. They have some of the players that played for him. They have everything on Stuart Baxter. They can't say, he's not the same guy we had before now. And now, they have previous record of him. So they know him very well. But they still went to him. They got him back. What is he doing now? What didn't he do now that they were expecting him from the last time without Kutu? What is it? What is it different with Stuart Baxter? Because I couldn't see anything different with Stuart Baxter in terms of his playing personnel kind of strategy. He likes all players. He was playing all players. He could have tried new things, new formations, because as a coach, I guess you learn these things and you see these things and you use some case studies to improve your own style of playing. But his belief in old players was still there. What was Unteki's role in appointing Stuart Baxter? What was Junior's role in appointing Stuart Baxter? Since those two were just appointed into the club, into the management of the club. I was saying, the other day, in fact, earlier, Chiefs as a brand, as an external brand. If the Chiefs was a cold drink, or they were like, you know what I mean? Like the same way we refer to the other toothpaste with the name of the one toothpaste. The Chiefs in marketing, they are very good at it. They've done so well at it. I know more about how to get a Chiefs jersey and a Chiefs cap and all of those things and how they train than I know what style of football they play. Because outside the pitch, great team, great brand, international brand, they good. Inside the pitch, nope. Ingulube sasagin. Isaga lihle but ngaphakathi ingulube. And this is something that's been going on for years. And as Ama fans, I guess the time Bantuba striker, they were fed up about this and they went to strike and they went to voice their views and they were handled in that thing. You can't say Uguti their views were heard and decisions were made based on purely on their views. No, they were handled. It's like they went there bakwatile and babanikeza Samuel Jackson as a thing, as what you call this thing, negotiate, and they negotiated them down, and the fans went back to their businesses and they hired Stuart Baxter. I don't think the fans wanted to Stuart Baxter by matching there or a coach similar to Stuart Baxter. So what I'm saying basically is good. Ever since the Chiefs let go of Lokozana, what's his name, Steve Compeller, right? Ever since they let go of Steve Compeller, none of the coaches have stayed longer than 2 seasons. None of those coaches have stayed longer than 2 seasons. Solinas did not finish a season. Middendorp took over half a season, did not finish another season. Did not finish another season. He finished the season but did not go into a new season. What's his name? Kevin Hunt, who he said himself, Guti, mina bengisplomele, banglanda, ngatana sispane, ngatati span. Now again begs the question, Guti, was there a discussion, people sitting down and saying, Guti, listen guys, we want to see our football going this direction as a club. And we feel, Guti, this is the coach. He has the pedigree, he has the experiences, everything that we need in a coach. And this is what you're doing. Or was it good, hey, Buffett, we need a coach? And someone was in the room, was like, timer, or Grootman or sister,
man coach ikhona man baqeda ukuvalidate kunomuntu ohleli akayenzi nix asimgayini span simbone ukuthi wenzani. What's the worst that he can do? Sibuya ku Ampur winning the league. What's the worst that he can do? And what's the worst did he do? What was, you know what I mean? Anyway, basically what I'm trying to say is Guti, management Chiefs of it have lost the plot. I keep saying that they've lost the plot. And with all due respect, I have so much respect for the time I little created a club, because we ended from ground up, and he was the golden standard at some point. KaizerChiefs was the golden standard at some point, as young as they were at the time compared to the other clubs that were formed. I am sure there's a lot of clubs now who are in the league, who are in the young leagues, amateur leagues, who are in the premier, in the DSTV league now, who have looked at the Chiefs as a blueprint, and they were like, you know what, we want to emulate that club one day. That's why other clubs have their own training places, abo Klokop, abo whatever. Baroka built their campus or their base also. All of those things were looked at and like, you know what, that club. And we can't shy away from that. But they have lost the plot. Right? Let me make you guys one example. When Mutsepe came into the league, or when Mutsepe came into club ownership, he made a lot of mistakes. We can't lie about that. He hired all the coaches and Aboneskins and Abobani, and he got the former Barcelona players, and they came in, but they couldn't improve the Sundowns to what it is now. I'm talking, it took Mutsepe, with all the experience and the learnings that he had in that time when he was hiring and firing all those coaches, to come back and hire one coach, which was Upito, and give him the time, give him everything that he needs to run that club and change that club's fortune into what they have now. Fortunately enough, during the time Baba Klosha, Baba Buisa, Labo coach, they were winning trophies. They were winning a trophy or two somewhere along the line. But if you use Mutsepe as an example, you look at that. You look at, okay, he came into a club ownership. He made whatever mistakes that he made. He was cancelling, with firing coaches, with buying players, and all of those things. But he took all of that experience, and then he was like, you know what? I don't know whether with Pito's influence or with Pito's recommendations, but he then was like, you know what? Let's stick to this one guy. Let's go with this one guy for as long as we can. And look at what he did for them. You get what I'm trying to say? Look at what he did for them. I'm not saying Guti, well, hindsight is a good thing. You know, now we can sit and say, hey, if the Chiefs are Miguel or Steve Compella, maybe eventually, you know what I mean? That's hindsight. That's something we can all say, it's, yeah, well, maybe. But we don't know that, right? We don't know that. And we also have to accept that at the time, Compella was also, you know, finding his feet in a big club and all of those things and all of that, you know. So yeah, as I said, hindsight, we can't say good if they've given him that chance. And so good, he could have turned the Chiefs' fortunes, right? But with all of that, with all that was happening before Baxter came into the Chiefs, you know, with the coaches being given 2 or 3 seasons at that chair to win a trophy once a season at least, to now changing coaches every season. We've fired more coaches now since Ukompela than any other team, I think. We probably now are like Ichipa United. We probably like Ichipa United. If you're looking at the coaches we've let go since we've let go of Steve and then Solinas and then. So basically, to come back to my point, there is something is not right for management. There's really something that's not right for management. You see, if you look at how people were looking at ESAFA and looking at the 2022 Vision ESAFA and how they planned and how the plan has failed and all of that, we need to go back to each Chiefs and say, listen, guys, you've come from a 10 years of it route. You've not won trophies in 10 years or in 10 seasons or however long. Right? What is the next, what are you looking to achieve in the next 10 years, and how? What's the plan? What are the what you call these things? The markers to say we are going through this, we've reached this point and we're seeing success here, or you know what I mean? What are those things? Like what's that plan? Young Tol Guttington. Is the plan to go back and hire coaches every season? I expect them, or is the plan to now go back to the structures of how we sign players, of how we develop players, of how we the style of football that we embed on our youth structures coming up into the league? What's that plan? Or how does it look like? Because I'm fed up, I'm upset, because I love this team. I've loved this team for all my life. I love the KaizerChiefs. People who know me. But I must tell you, the past couple of years have been difficult. It's difficult to keep quiet and see the things that we see. It's difficult to keep quiet and still witness the type of players we sign, the type of mistakes we make when signing those players, the arrogance we have to come out to the fans and tell the fans, no, we couldn't get so and so as a player because that club raised the buying fee because we are KaizerChiefs. No, that club raised the buying fee because they want to make profit. You wanted the player, you keep mali. Keep mali. You wanted the player, keep mali taking player. Now we have these things where our players, reputations are being ruined because they are linked to us. Now the players don't want to play for their team because they want to come to KaizerChiefs and all of that. Or rumored to want to come to KaizerChiefs. And therefore, you keep mali out time. If Futsal Passport wants 50 million, keep it 50 million. Keep it 50 million. That's how that other club survives. That's how they then go back and invest in developing another player that you would want to buy. That's how they survive. No, we can't buy players. No, it doesn't work that way. You are KaizerChiefs. What you call this thing? Operation Fat Alice. Where's that money from Operation Fat Alice? Where is that money from Operation Fat Alice? Use that money to buy players. If Sundowns has raised the standard from a player that you could afford for 1 million to that player now costing 5 million, raise the standard for Sundowns from 5 to 10 million. So that Sundowns can't get the players that you can get because they can't afford the 10 million. For example, we're just saying because Sundowns can afford the 10 million. Like, I was even making this joke, right now, KaizerChiefs, right? Or yes, KaizerChiefs right now, they should be going for one of the coaches by Sundowns or going for Ushalulile. Be that brave to go for Ushalulile during when the window's open. Be that brave to go for any of the top players Sundowns has. You've enjoyed to do that when the window opens. What's stopping you from doing that? You are KaizerChiefs. Angithi nisho kanjalo ukuthi we are be KaizerChiefs, go out in the market and be lethal and buy these players or go for this type of players, because you can see ukuthi there are no other players in the league that can match the standard of Chiefs except the players of Sundowns, for example. Then you go for those players. If you want to be the best, you go for the best. If the best has the best, then you go to that best to take their best so you can be bestest or greater or whatever that thing is. That's how you continue your legacy as a club. That's how you continue growing this brand. Not ukuthi nisitshela ngamakepis ukuthi nithengisa amakepis. Now we know more about amakepis than we know about the type of football you want to play. Now players need to go to about Belgium and do ama trials about Belgium because they are so good in the development structures, but we can't see their greatness in the first team. I'm not saying go to promote every 15-year-old. I'm not saying that. But look at how it will feel for a 15-year-old who would be good enough at Belgium, but you thought they are not good enough in Lokuzan, in your own team. Or one of their own who they've seen come out of the Chiefs was not good enough on their first team. To come out like, but we need to start saying these things, and these clubs need to hear what we are saying as I'm fans. We can't all march to a Naturena and leave a memorandum lapan. We can't do that. If you want to be the best, you go out look for the best, you buy the best. The Sundowns is not the way Bangakona manje because they didn't want to keep imali to go buy Teruku Kumaritzbek. No, they're not as they don't have the best striker because they didn't want to take out Imali to go buy Highlands Park. To go buy Ushalulile Highlands Park. They've made their own flops with the players that they bought and all of those things. Sharp, good enough. They are their own club. They have their own philosophy and they do what works for them. But what you've been doing has not been working for you for years now. For years, it's not been working for you. For years, it's not been working for you. So you either need to go back, change it, or learn from the other people. The same way they learned from you when they were also coming up as clubs. Because I'm telling you, at one point, Motsepe looked at Inechuren and was like, you know what, if we can build something similar, or we can build something that will have our team train in such a pace. They did it, looking at your blueprint. How arrogant are you to say, Guti, we're not going to look at Sundowns' blueprint, or we're not going to look at other clubs' blueprint? How? You can't be that arrogant. This is all learning. We are all learning, picking up our experiences from other people. That's why we have the Premier League the league kala ngomei pele not ngomei kala ngokasti pele ngomei. We saw that happening in other countries and we adopted it here. We used to be a January to whenever league. That's how you evolve. You learn from others, you adapt, and then you evolve to say, listen, we see good Lababainza, right? We take what they're doing, we improve it, and then we move forward. Now you have clubs that are just coming out of nowhere, and now they are eclipsing you. Royal AM is eclipsing you. Go tele foot, go tele. Royal AM is eclipsing you. There's something they are doing that you are not doing. And even worse, they've merged two clubs, so they've merged two cultures. Two cultures. Even Stellenbosch is doing far better than KaizerChiefs in terms of its success. In terms of its success or the growth of their club. Far better than KaizerChiefs. Far better than KaizerChiefs. Because they've built whatever they are building and you can see they are happy with it. Their results are coming through. The players that they want are coming through. Their development structures is good. Their resources that they have and everything is coming through. They're doing their own thing. They have their own successes. What is your plan? That's basically what I'm asking. With whoever coach that comes through, what are we going to see? Whatever coach that comes in, what is it that's going to change? With either the playing style, the culture, the attitude of the players, you as a management, what is it that you're going to give that coach that you didn't give the previous coaches? Those type of things. Because I bet you, even if Ulanda, Klopp, and you still want to Klopp to coach Upaka, with no disrespect to Upaka, but you still want him to coach Upaka. You still want him to coach Mutaul, Cardoso as your centre backs. You still want to go buy a player who has a contract expiry, the club has not been playing for 6 months because you contracted that player and that club now doesn't want to play that player. You want that coach to come in and coach that player. You want a coach to come in and have a Mashiane and have a Bongobo and have all these Abokhatebe. Bafike bakubo seba despondent abozuma to say, we've not been playing for 3 seasons now. We've been in this club. We've not been given the opportunity. I'm 26 years of age, but I'm still considered as a young teenager or as a young boy in this club. You want that. That's what you want. You want a coach to come in and still be told by Abopobi which players that they need to bring in, how they need to bring in those players. And bring in players that are not going to play after 6 months they leave. You want that to be the same legacy you continue with, and you expect that to be to bring you results or to bring you success. No, man. No, we need to see something different here. This hurts us as Ama fans because, as I said, we grew up supporting this team. We have defended this club for years now. For years, we've been the laughing stock. We've been defending. We've been trying. Every time we win, we post to go to yes, win, yeah. Then we lose, and then like, ish. Because that's in any sense now. That's what we've been reduced to. Ngathi si ngathi manje si on ngathi si what samaphetri. Yes, siyawina eish siyalose. Yes, siyawina eish siyalose. It hurts. This really yes, it's pulling me more lento le. So I mean, as a fan bafethu, I am urging the management. I am pleading with the management, the Chiefs. I know whether this will go to their ears or not, but I'm pleading with them to say, listen, take the time. While ArthurZwane, not DillanShepard, are still looking after the team, take your time. You have now until the end of the season and the preseason and what you call this close of the season and the preseason. Take your time. Look at what is it that you want from this team. Laba baphelela ma contract, let them go. If you feel good, they're not going to add value to the club going forward. Sit down, look at what you have. Look at the failures that we've had. What caused those failures? You do ilokuzana now. You're doing analysis to say, listen, guys, we were once a great team, but we have fallen from that mountain. In all of us, this glory so what have we picked up here as the lessons and the experience? And then you take that and you say, we want to now go back here. If you come out Makali season, Mina as a fan, and you say to me, Stelo, as our fan, we have this plan, that we are hiring this coach, we're not expecting trophies from him, we are not going to give him pressure, but we have this plan. This is what we want to see. After a certain number of years or a certain number of seasons or a certain number of games, he has not achieved this. That means we have failed. We're therefore going to look for something else. But we are looking for this, and we will give progress to say, listen, we can see he's in the right direction. Because we are evaluating. We are looking at the what's happening, and then we are coming back to say, this is what's happening. If you come out and say that, I will support you, as a club, because I can see good. There's a vision, there's a plan. Not the season operation, fat LS season. No, not that. Not that. We are now saying, Guti, Sundowns is a great team, as I conclude. As if now Sundowns was a Italizolo team. No. No, I kalang team. I kalang is all. We are saying now, Guti, hey, abo Liverpool, amatlapa makulu, hey, what. No. I kalanga is all with Liverpool to be the team that they are. But when Liverpool braved it out and went and fetched Klopp when he left the PVP, and they took him and said, listen, dude, we are going to give you the time, we are going to give you the players, we are going to give you everything that you need to turn our club's fortunes back into the great team that we were. Look at them now. Every season competing for the league. Every season competing for all the cups that are out there. But if thina sifuna ukuba boganslinga siqashe coach manje sixoshe manje engayenzanga nix, angeke siye ndawo. And that's not the legacy we want to continue seeing with KaizerChiefs. But anyway, bafethu, as I conclude this, as I conclude this, bafethu, as ngishilo, there's going to be changes on our channel. Please stay tuned and ngiyanicela bafethu